In 1945, the United States brought over 1,600 German scientists to work on rockets, jet engines, and nuclear research. It was called Operation Paperclip, and it helped launch America's space program. Now, 80 years later, the race is still on. Only this time, the prize isn't missile fuel or rocket blueprints. It's minds. Countries are building pipelines for talent the same way they once built pipelines for oil. You have China's Thousand Talents program, the UAE's Golden Visa, the EU's Blue Card, each one a policy designed to attract, or steal, the next generation of innovators. Because the global contest for power isn't fought only in boardrooms or battlefields anymore. It's fought in classrooms, laboratories, and code repositories, in who teaches, who funds, and who leaves. Hey everybody, welcome to Midweek Sitrep, your bi-weekly briefing on national security and the forces that shape it. My name is Jerry Fowler, and I'm your host. Every other week, I give you the context you need to see what's really going on so you can stay mission-focused. Now today, we're talking about the power grid of people, how nations compete for human capital like a strategic resource, how immigration and innovation have become tools of statecraft, and how, from Operation Paperclip to the AI talent wars, the movement of people is shaping the balance of global power. Let's get into it. Think about what powers a country. For most of history, it was coal, oil, or land. But in the 21st century, now it's people. Brains, not barrels. Nations compete for talent the same way they once fought for territory. Because innovation doesn't just happen. It's taught, trained, and attracted. The United States became the world's engine of innovation, not by accident, but by design. Einstein fleeing Europe. Sergey Brin's family leaving the Soviet Union. Refugees, dreamers, and scientists who came here and built everything from the atomic bomb to Google. But that magnetism isn't guaranteed. Other nations have learned the game. China launched its Thousand Talents program in 2008, offering scientists huge incentives to return home or share research. The United Arab Emirates created its Golden Visa, a 5 to 10-year residence for scientists, coders, and innovators. Europe has the Blue Card, designed to draw top professionals from abroad. And in the US, immigration policy swings between open and restrictive, even as the world's best minds look for where they can build fastest. This isn't just a story about visas. It's a story about power and who gets to hold it. The line between talent policy and national security is blurring. Under U.S. export control law, the government doesn't just restrict physical goods. It can restrict knowledge. A deemed export happens when sharing controlled technology or source code with a foreign national. And that can happen even inside a United States-based lab. That still counts as an export. That means a conversation, a lab meeting, even an internship can cross the legal line. The Department of Justice has prosecuted cases involving researchers who failed to disclose foreign funding, many under what was called the China Initiative. Now, that program ended in 2022, but the scrutiny didn't disappear. It simply evolved under broader counterintelligence and research security frameworks. Now, universities have research security offices. Federal grants require disclosure of foreign affiliations. And inside government, Trusted Workforce 2.0 is overhauling how clearances are granted. an effort to streamline vetting for sensitive positions while reducing decades-long backlogs. But this isn't just an academic issue. Private industry operates under the same pressure. Companies working with defense technology, aerospace systems, or satellite components are bound by the International Traffic in Arms Regulations, or ITAR. Under ITAR Section 126.1, nationals from certain countries, including China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, are restricted from accessing U.S. defense-related technology, even if they live or work inside the United States. For companies in defense, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing, that means protecting sensitive data isn't just a cybersecurity issue, it's a compliance obligation. It's not about excluding talent, it's about ensuring that national security technology stays secure. In these industries, hiring decisions carry the same weight as export decisions. Both require awareness, documentation, and accountability. Now, the result is a web of compliance where human capital is regulated like hardware. Because the talent shortage isn't just in Silicon Valley. It's in national labs, cyber units, and defense contractors. The truth is, we need experts, but we also need trust. And that tension defines the new national security frontier. We've seen this before. After World War II, the United States launched Operation Paperclip, bringing over 1,600 German scientists and engineers, many with controversial pasts, to work on rockets, aeronautics, and weapons development. It was one of the earliest examples of strategic talent capture. Those scientists helped lay the groundwork for the U.S. space program and ultimately the Apollo missions. Now, fast forward to today, the new arms race isn't nuclear, it's artificial intelligence. Top engineers are the new WMDs, weapons of mass development. The US and China are in a quiet competition for AI dominance. Chinese researchers trained in American universities return home to build startups or advanced state AI initiatives. US firms from OpenAI to Google DeepMind guard their algorithms, hire aggressively, and compete for a handful of elite engineers who can shape entire industries. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You can't embargo knowledge in someone's head. You can regulate chips and code, but you can't regulate what that person remembers. You can only attract them or lose them. What does this mean for companies and policymakers? First, let's talk about deemed exports and ITAR compliance. If your company employs foreign nationals who work on controlled technologies, that interaction itself may count as an export. Under the Export Administration Regulations, EAR, that includes dual-use fields like semiconductors, quantum computing, and AI. Under ITAR, the stakes are higher, especially for firms handling defense articles or technical data on the U.S. munitions list. Now, we've already covered how ITAR Section 126.1 restricts certain foreign nationals from accessing defense technology. The takeaways for business is simple. Every role that touches sensitive technology requires a license strategy. Before onboarding, companies must know what's being shared, who can access it, and whether an authorization is needed. It's less about who you hire and more about how you manage information once they're in the building. Now, second is cross-functional screening. Export control, legal, and HR departments can no longer operate in silos. A resume review can carry the same national security weight as a contract review. Background checks, end-user certifications, and technology control plans all need to align before a badge or laptop is issued. Third is foreign influence risk. Universities, startups, and corporate R&D centers must track the origin of research funding and partnerships. Federal agencies expect disclosure of foreign talent recruitment ties and financial interests. not after the fact, but at the start of a project. Fourth is immigration as strategy. Countries are competing for talent through immigration policy, using visas and residency pathways as tools of economic power. Canada has streamlined work permits for laid-off U.S. tech workers. The UK continues to expand its global talent visa to recruit AI researchers and scientists. And in the United States, the debate over how to attract and retain high-skilled workers remains unresolved. Every day, every backlog is a signal to the world about where innovators can and can't build their futures. Finally, fifth, workforce as a controlled asset. Human capital isn't just a staffing metric anymore. It's a regulated commodity. For global companies, the next frontier of compliance isn't only knowing your customer, it's knowing your colleague. Because in today's economy, the people who build technology are the technology. And how you manage them will determine whether your company stays innovative or ends up sanctioned. Now let's not forget, we're talking about people, and everyone's got a story. And behind every policy memo and export license, there's a person. A grad student in a clean room racing a deadline while their visa renewal sits in limbo. A researcher trying to choose between returning home or staying abroad, knowing that either choice carries consequences. An immigrant family that builds a company changing the world while their home government pressures them to share what they've learned. The geopolitics of talent cuts both ways. Some nations send their best and brightest abroad to study cutting-edge technologies, with the expectation that they'll bring that knowledge back home. Others work to retain the talent they've trained, tightening visa rules or screening for foreign funding to protect what they've built. Every immigration rule, every research disclosure, it affects real people and real strategy. The same systems that protect innovation can also strain it. When collaboration starts to look like the risk, or curiosity starts to look like compromise. And the risks are real. Espionage, intellectual property theft, covert funding and influence networks. Each confirmed case deepens the mistrust, but each overreaction, that risks losing the openness that made innovation possible in the first place. The challenge isn't choosing between security and openness. It's learning how to build both into the same system. Global innovation runs on trust, exchange, and opportunity, but it only lasts where vigilance is part of the design. Energy grids power machines. Talent grids, they power nations. America's real advantage has never been its size or its stockpile. It's been its ability to attract brilliance from everywhere and give it room to build. That openness created Silicon Valley, won the space race, and still drives the AI revolution. But that same openness now defines the battlefield. Rivals recruit and copy the very minds that made us strong. Shut the doors, and we lose the spark that keeps us ahead. Leave them wide open, and we expose what we're trying to protect. The task is balance. Learning to manage the flow of talent and trust. To welcome innovation without surrendering it. That means faster clearances, smarter visa pathways, and compliance programs that defend technology without suffocating it. The countries that master that balance, that can stay open and secure at the same time, will set the pace for the century ahead. This isn't a workforce issue. It's economic strategy. It's foreign policy. It's national power. The next great contest won't be over who controls resources, but who controls the resourceful. So as we wrap up, the next time you hear a debate about visas, research funding, or education, remember, That's not bureaucracy. That's strategy. Because the competition for power now runs through classrooms, code bases, and laboratories. Through the people who design the future long before anyone else sees it coming. The world's most important grid isn't built from copper or steel. It's built from the human potential, the ideas and instincts that keep nations alive. And in that grid, every connection matters. Every person, every policy, every act of trust. Everything is national security, even the people who make it possible. And that's today's Sitrep. Make sure you keep up with Midweek Sitrep on Substack and YouTube for more on this and other topics. You'll find short clips, interviews, and bonus content. And if you want to support the show, check out our merch on everythingisnationalsecurity.com. Every shirt and hat helps keep us independent and growing. I'm Jerry Fowler, and remember, everything is national security. See you next time. Midweek Sitrep with Jerry Fowler is an independent production of OpSent Media Group, LLC. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, financial, or professional advice. Listeners should consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions based upon the content discussed. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host, Jerry Fowler, and any guest, and do not reflect the official policy, position, or endorsement of any current or former employer, client, government agency, military organization, educational institution, or any other entity for which the host, Jerry Fowler, may be affiliated. Mention of a company, product, or service does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation. Any references are provided for informational purposes only. This podcast does not disclose any classified, proprietary, or confidential information. All discussions are based upon publicly available information and personal expertise. Everything's national security. OpSent Media Group, LLC.